Coming up on this episode of Fire Talk Radio, San Diego movies are movies. I'm just gonna start over for you guys listening live. Coming up on Talk Radio, we get some new movie drops from the San Diego Comic-Con. There's an idea to flatten the line in Saudi Arabia. And term limits are introduced, but not for Congress. All that and more. I'm Jason, that's Ryan, and this is Fire Talk Radio. Come on, intro. Play. The intro is not playing. We're off to a great start.
Yeah, great start. I'll add the intro in on cut. So,
So for those of you watching live, you get to see the outtakes tonight.
oh, we are out taking it. So yeah, this is episode 41 of Fire Talk Radio. I am Ryan. That is Jason. We have a handful of things we're going to talk about tonight. But real quick, contact as always. Email us at firetalknetwork@gmail.com. Phone number, if you want to leave us a voicemail, it's 814-380-9820. Check us out on all our streaming services, Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeart, all over the place. Support Anchor. Anchor's supporting us. We support them. Also check us Fire Talk Radio, Facebook, Fire Talk Radio. We're out there. But it's been an interesting week since the last episode.
Since the last
Biden
episode,
got COVID.
I can only count to 4.
There it is.
now the
That was
Now the
fucking
music
late.
comes.
That was fucking fantastic. All right. So yeah, I can't fucking count to 4.
So
So
last week we didn't get to talk about this because it was after we recorded. Biden got COVID. Now we're talking about the guy that I'm sure if you looked it up right now, you would find the clip. It was probably about a year ago now, maybe slightly more, maybe a year and a couple months, where Biden said, "Get the shot, just get it," because he said, if you get the shot, if you get the vaccine, you won't get COVID. We're talking about a guy that
a lot of people said that.
he was on national television, on the bully pulpit, saying, if you get the shot, you won't get COVID. He got the shot. He got the second shot. He got the booster shot. He got
Both
the second
boosters.
booster shot. The guy is like 70% vaccine at this point. And he still got it.
I thought it was great that
And
they asked him
afterwards, they gave him the pill that Pfizer came out with for COVID.
the press briefing. How did he contract it? And they raised their shoulders up like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I
It was
was trying to figure out how that. For like a year, almost 2 years going, we had our phones were dinging us if we were in close proximity someone who was known to have COVID. You would think the president would be like the number one candidate of how did you contract COVID?
Well, I mean, we're talking about one, he's old, he's geriatric. He's obviously has mental issues, so he's got that not going for him. As we found out last week, he also has cancer, according to him. And then he contracts COVID?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows?
That's not a good place to be with all of that. And, of course, then you have the unfalsifiable argument from everyone. Well, if he didn't have the shots, it could have been worse. Do we know that? That's like saying, well, if he didn't take a shower that day, it could have been worse. If he didn't eat green eggs and ham for breakfast, it could have been worse. Can you prove me wrong?
I mean, yeah, that's a tough
It's an
action.
Every time somebody, one of our Congress people or celebrity or now the president, anytime one of them gets COVID and they're vaccinated, they go, you need to get vaccinated because if you're not vaccinated, it could have been worse. Well, again, it's unfalsifiable. How do you argue against that? You can't, because the only
No.
way to argue against that is to go, well, then let's go back in time, not give it to him, and see if it was worse.
Who knows? All right, so we're gonna lighten up the mood a little bit. So, San Diego Comic-Con's about over. And I thought it was a fantastic showing, especially when it came. There was a lot going on, which was nice. I
We
did
had
do a little
stuff
bit
from
of the
both
live
Marvel
streaming.
and DC, which was
Marvel,
awesome.
DC, there was a lot there. It's been a while since there was a lot there because of COVID.
Yeah.
But I think if I remember correctly, I saw the schedules like it went longer than 3 days. I think it was like 4 or 5 days. So I think that was a bonus in itself. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. That'd be great. But DC dropped the new Shazam and Black Adam and Super Pets.
I like and Super Pets.
Yeah,
Which,
no.
by the way, isn't The Rock in that one also?
Yeah, he's Superdog. He's crypto, but I really didn't give a shit. I am looking forward to seeing Black Adam though.
Black Adam
He
looks
is
awesome.
a true anti-hero. He just doesn't give a shit. He will kill you if he deems it necessary. So comic
Okay.
book lore, or Black Adam was the first Shazam in a sense, but he decided not to use. He didn't have to. He didn't really. I think he still has to say the word Shazam, but he's there. He just decided to not give a shit and rule.
Right.
So
So
the Elder kind. That's why
couldn't
the
take
Elder
his
took
powers
so long.
away. Yeah, they couldn't take his powers away, so they like encased him, didn't they?
Yeah. He was sentenced to exile. In the comics, he was like chucked through space, like 5,000 years away. So I mean, he took a while to get back. Yeah, they have Doctor Fate, Hawkman, and a handful of others. So, and DC dropped the ball, and they couldn't announce the Superman. They couldn't announce that Henry Cavill was going to be Superman or not. We've been waiting for a super. I believe Henry Cavill, other than Christopher Reeve, played Superman very, very well. I am not a huge Superman fan by the moxie of it, but when I see Henry Cavill play Superman, I can see how he portrays the character. He does it very well.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I
Well,
was
the thing with Superman, and this is why I've never been a Superman fan, is the only way to hurt him in our reality is kryptonite. So everything revolves around kryptonite or going after someone else to try to get to him or something like that. You're talking about a guy that he's faster than a speeding bullet, but he doesn't have to be unless he's saving someone else. If someone's shooting at him, he doesn't have to dodge bullets. So it's not like the Flash, where the Flash has speed. Because of his speed, he's got power, stuff like that. But if somebody snuck up behind him and shot him in the back, so there's actual, and that's the thing with the superheroes that I like, is most of them aren't as Superman is, because they have enough flaws that, they can have more than one villain that has a means of taking them out. Obviously they have their main ones, but
So being that said, I mean, all right, and then you have Shazam, is a form of Superman by the powers of the Greek gods, in a sense. But he's
and
also
Solomon.
made the Shazam family.
Solomon's not Greek.
Yeah, Solomon. Nah. But I watched the trailer, and it doesn't make me go, "Ugh." No.
No, not like so. The first one with Shazam, what made me really love it was Zachary Levi. The guy is awesome in everything he does.
He
I am
actually
such
pulls.
a fan of
He
Chuck.
actually was like, and the thing is, he does it correctly. He does Shazam correctly. He does Captain Marvel, because Shazam really is originally Captain Marvel
Right.
before Marvel got pissy and took the name back.
Well, Captain Marvel, he was Captain Marvel before they were with DC, when they were with
Yes.
the other. And then that company got sued by Marvel.
Yep.
They had to give
So
up
that's
the
why
name,
he
and when they
became
gave
Shazam.
up the name, they also sold it to DC. DC's the one that turned it into Shazam.
Yeah. So, but Zachary remembers the whole time, even though he's in the adult form, he's a 10-year-old kid.
Right.
He's supposed to act like a 10-year-old, and he does it great. I just hopefully, my hope is that at the end of the Shazam movie, Shazam in the Black Adam. That
would be awesome.
That is the only thing that will save that, I think.
Well, in this movie is a little bit different, because he's the only Shazam, but all the other kids are
Counterparts.
also. Yeah.
Yeah,
the
no,
other
they're
parts of
just
them.
parts of him.
Right.
Yes.
So they all have their own powers also. And again, that I like that over Superman, that is, I can do everything. I can shoot lasers out of my eyes. I can, fly. I can, run super fast. I can all of that. Shazam can do that, but Shazam is a 10-year-old kid trying to figure all that shit out.
Well, that's the
And
thing.
then-
The whole Shazam family, they're all
kids.
young, I think, except there's the one oldest. Then Marvel came up shortly after them. Marvel basically said, "Well, fine. Fuck you." And the Multiverse Saga seasons 5 and 6. So you got She-Hulk, the Secret Invasion with the Skrulls.
She-Hulk
I'm
is
actually
coming
looking
up
forward.
this- Isn't She-Hulk
Spring of
this
23.
month? Oh, I thought it was
She-Hulk,
fall of
August
22.
August 17th.
Yeah, this month. Well, okay,
Yep.
it's still July, but
Yeah.
close enough.
You have Ant-Man coming out in February. I'm actually looking forward to that, because this we may end up seeing Kang for the first time. So that's going to be interesting.
And I get to see one of the love of my lives, Evangeline Lilly, again.
Sure.
It's a lost thing. I don't know why.
And then you have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which Gamora is returning. They're going to go into the backstory of Rocket, and this is supposed to be the last one with Star-Lord. So it's going to be a new Guardians after that. So, and Groot's a little older.
Doesn't Groot have a TV show now?
I Am Groot.
Or-
Yeah, it's coming out on Disney Plus here soon too.
Okay.
Wakanda Forever. I'm actually looking forward to this because I actually do. I appreciate how they did Black Panther. Black Panther was really good. They really kept the story of Black Panther to a T, which is fantastic.
And the
I'm looking
sad
forward
part
to seeing how that works.
You know, the sad part is obviously Chadwick Boseman passed away. And I remember listening to an interview that at the time I didn't catch it until after he died, that I realized when they asked about him being in Black Panther 2, and he said,
Oh, he made the
basically-
comment that he'll be dead.
Yeah, he goes, he made the comment. He's like, nah, I won't live that long. And he just like said it like it was an off the cuff joke or something, and not knowing, because nobody knew he had cancer at the time.
They said Chadwick kept that to himself all up until the end. So not even his own castmates even knew that that was it for him.
Yeah.
So then you have Echo coming up. It's going off following the events of Hawkeye with Maya Lopez. Going through there. Loki, season 2. So we're going to go
I'll be
from...
interested to see how they pull that one off. Season 1 looked like it was just a one-off. You couldn't do a season 2 from it.
Oh no, the way it ended, and when he went back to the what is it called? The time people, and it had all changed to Kang the Conqueror's statue. It really it set up for next season. And then you got Blade. Looking forward to that. Don't get me wrong.
Blade, I'm looking for.
Wesley Snipes played Blade very well, but Marshall Ali fits that role really good. And
gonna have to
rumor
watch
is
the- I'm gonna
the
have
guy
to
who
watch
plays
the tra-
Homelander, the guy who plays Homelander, and
Mhm.
is supposed to be Dracula, I believe. Hopefully I'm wrong, but but I believe he's supposed to be the Dracula. So that'd be interesting. And
Now,
then
they don't have a trailer out yet for Blade, do they?
no,
No, because it's still a year and
Ironheart.
a half away.
I am so looking for this. The daughter of Tony Stark building her own Iron Man suit. Can't wait. Agatha. I don't know if you don't remember Agatha. Agatha was the other witch in the Scarlet Witch
Yeah.
show on Disney Plus.
Yeah, she was one
WandaVision.
that she fought at the end and everything, and popped up through the whole
Yeah.
thing, and that she stole the the book?
Yeah.
What's the name of that book?
I just watched fucking Multiverse of Madness too. The
Oh, I can't remember.
Darkmouth.
the-
Darkmouth?
Yeah, no.
Or-
Here's the strange thing. The first time that was mentioned was in Agents of Shield.
It was.
And it's weird when, like, I was thinking about that while we were watching, because I didn't put it together when I was watching WandaVision. But when I was watching, I was in the theater and I was watching Multiverse, and I'm like, wait a minute. Is this the same book from Agents of
It is
Shield?
the same
Then
book.
I rewatched Agents of Shield again, and it is. It's the one where Daredevil. No,
Ghost Rider.
not Daredevil. Ghost Rider took it back to the Hell dimension he's from. And that was the last they saw of it. And you think that should be the last. And then it shows up again. And now in multiverse, you find out there's more than one because each multiverse has their own.
Yep. And then you have
So-
Daredevil. Charlie Cox is returning as Daredevil.
so
And
excited
Vincent
for this.
Alfaro. Vincent is returning as Wilson Fisk. So Fisk died at the end of Hawkeye, but that was 2 years prior to this. So we're gonna see what the fuck he was up to in New York in Hell's Kitchen. Can't wait for that.
That's right. He came back from the blip, didn't he?
Yes,
he got
he
out
did.
because of the blip. Yep.
And then there's Captain America: New World Order. Now the ultimate question: is that the Falcon?
It's got to be the Falcon. It's got to be Falcon Captain America.
Or is it Steve Rogers?
No, it's got to be Falcon.
Steve Rogers does, in the comics, does reprise his role multiple times as Captain America.
Now, here's my question, though. In Falcon and the Winter Soldier, when Falcon becomes Captain America, how do you
Yep.
become Captain America if you don't have the super soldier serum?
He took on the title, but he never took the Super Soldier Serum.
Yeah, that was my whole thing with Falcon and the Winter Soldier is Captain America, what made him formidable was that he had the super soldier serum, the same one that Bucky had. And then Bucky didn't have it in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And that's the whole point of the series was, you know, that there were other ones out there. But for Falcon to do what he needs to do as Captain America, you have to have the super soldier serum.
he was able to do it with his new suit. He's able to do a lot more than what Cap was able to do. So it's in the comics. He never took the serum, and he took up the role as Captain America.
I knew
So-
that. I know that. But
it's going to be a nice twist to see how he does. That's the one thing about Marvel movies. It is going to be public of court of opinion in this. The weather. I know what Christopher O'Donnell Chris came out and said that Falcon is now that Sam is now the new Captain America and walked away. But I have a feeling he's going to return. And if it's not in this one, it's going to be in the next couple that are about to show up. Then you got the Thunderbolts. This is
I'm not
this is
familiar with
Marvel's
that.
version of the Suicide Squad.
okay.
That I'm not going to be able to see the Red Hulk and the original character that's supposed to be the Red Hulk. They're probably going to get a new one to be the General to turn into the Red Hulk. So we'll see what happens. And then the one thing I've actually been waiting for is a true Marvel version of Fantastic Four. Don't get me wrong. The other ones, they were entertaining. Kevin
Okay.
Feige came out and said, this is not an origin story. So that means they're already there. The thing's already there. The torch is there. And Tom, the Spider-Man, actually, the guy who played Spider-Man, Tom Holland, tweeted out that he will be reappearing in the Fantastic Four movie, which kind of makes sense. Spider-Man actually was a member of Fantastic Four at one time in the comics. Spider-Man's
Spider-Man
also
was a
best
part of
friends with Johnny
everyone.
Storm. So I can't wait for that. I think that'd
You
be
know what would
interesting.
be hilarious is if they oh god, who played Steve Rogers and played Johnny Storm? The actor.
Yeah,
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans.
Yeah, it'd be hilarious if Chris Evans came back as Johnny Storm as an
So-
alternate universe.
Oh, I'm gonna get to that theory in a second. Give me a second. Getting there. So, what I think is that I think the Baxter Building became the new Baxter Building is the old Avengers Tower.
Okay.
So that's my assumption of where the Baxter Building will become. It's the old Avengers Tower because it's still up for sale. The last we knew. And then here's Kang's Dynasty. So the Avengers are coming back. The ultimate question is, are some of the old Avengers coming back that have retired, or because one big reason why Kang even came to conquer that dimension is because of Steve Rogers. Steve Rogers is the ailment that wasn't. So that's the ultimate question. And that's going to lead me to this. Secret
Wars. Yep.
So that's where, when you said that you wanted to see Chris Evans play Human Torch again, that's a theory that can happen in this, because in Secret Wars, they pulled characters from multiple multiverses. So there's an actual chance that Chris Evans' character of Human Torch could be in here. Could see the other Spider-Man return. Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire. They could return. That'd be funny as hell to see all three Spider-Man again.
Oh yeah. And then have Chris Evans return as Human Torch and just really confuse everyone.
Yeah.
Like
No, you know what would be great if they actually did the Deadpool scenario. If Deadpool does show up, he's the reason why the black suit was even created in Secret Wars comic, because they did a flashback in one of the Deadpool where he created it, didn't like it, left it there, and it bonded to Spider-Man. That'd be hilarious if that's what they did.
that'd be good.
And then that's how Tom Holland gets his black suit.
Gets the black suit. Yep. I like that.
So it will be interesting to see what all happens. But yeah, San Diego, Marvel decided to give two birds to DC and say, we're going to give you all 5 and 6 all in one showboat. Enjoy them apples. I'm like, fuck. And then Clerks 3 comes out shortly. So,
Yeah,
I think
so
I'm set
it's
for
been
movies.
It's been a kind of a ho-hum 2 years with movies because of COVID and everything. But
Yeah.
now, because of everything that's been put on the back burners, now everything is going to be just boom, run right after another. It's going to be like the 80s again, where it's like hit after hit after hit.
Yeah.
Now, the thing with all of this, though, is, and this is the part that makes me wonder. So one of the things with Marvel, they still do great in the box office.
Yeah.
But like my son said, and this is true with any Disney movie now, when we went and saw Multiverse, I want to say like 2 weeks or 3 weeks after it came out, it was still in the theaters. And then it was like 2 weeks later, it was on Disney Plus.
Yep.
And my son's like, so why did we go see it when we could have just waited 2 weeks? We didn't go see Lightyear, partially because I don't care about Lightyear, and my son doesn't care too much. But now it's literally still in one of our theaters, and they're announcing that it's coming out, if not already out, on Disney Plus.
Yeah, that's
So-
coming out, I think, next, like 2 weeks, I believe.
Yeah. So my question is there really a reason outside of the
A lot of the
experience of being in a movie theater, you know, with the group thought and all of that stuff, to
my thought about that, and I was thinking about that with a friend of mine. We were talking. theater the theater experience is for the older generation, the Gen Xers, the early millennials, the boomers.
Zennials, us, yeah.
Yeah. Um. Oh, I'm a Gen Xer all the way. I could care two shits about that micro generation. Fuck them. Um.
Hey.
Um. But the thing is that Disney, as fucked up as they've become, a lot of the movie contracts don't include streaming profits. So I think that's what they're trying to do. It's a money game
was-
too.
That was the lawsuit with Black Widow.
With Scarlett Johansson with Black
Yes.
Widow,
Yes.
because it was in theaters. It wasn't in theaters that long, and they went
Like,
straight
a
to
weekend.
Disney Plus, and Disney got all the profits. And then that's when they threw the.
Which rightfully
And as
so.
long as Disney
I mean-
has that grasp on Marvel, that's probably what they're doing. Are they doing it? I can only assume that's what they're doing.
I mean,
They're never going to come out and say, "Hey, this is our money ticket."
I mean, I didn't think like it was they were going that it was going to be, oh, you don't have to see something in the theaters until, like I said, my 10-year-old son pointed out, we just saw Multiverse the other day and now they're already advertising it on Disney Plus.
Yep.
Like, why did we go see it? Like, we went to see it because we wanted to see it right away. We didn't want to wait for it to come out on streaming in 6 months. And then it comes out like the weekend after.
Yeah,
That's
the only
back in the day, it used to be, I mean, I'm talking like Blockbuster days. Used to be you go see something in the theater and it will be in the theater for months. Trying to think of big movies. I know because I remember reading that Titanic was like 6 months in the theater.
I went with an ex-girlfriend of mine to Titanic. I fell asleep.
Oh, I did.
She
too.
let me sleep. I woke up just as the boat was snapping in two. I said, "Thank you for waking me up at the best part of this damn movie, because this is the only action."
I actually walked out of the theater for a while, went to Subway because it was at the mall and there was a Subway in the mall. Got myself a sub, went back in the theater with my sub in hand, didn't try hiding it or anything, sat down, started eating my sub. Anyway, Matrix was another one though. Matrix was in the theater for months.
I enjoyed that. That was
And
I did
then
see that in theater. That was something
it took
I wanted
like a
to see
year
in theater.
before it got onto DVD and VHS. But it was always, you had first run theaters, like, the big, whatever Theater 8 in the mall and all this. Then you had the smaller second run theaters that had like one, Jurassic Park was one I remember seeing. I saw it in the first run theater, and then I saw it like 6-7 times in a second run theater for like $1.50. And because it was like, once it gets done with the first run theater, then it goes to the second run theaters and it's there for a couple months at second run theaters. And then it's like another 2, 3, 4 months, and then it's out, and then you go to Blockbuster and you start looking at the new releases, or you start looking at the newspaper, or
That was always the fight to go to Blockbuster. It's like that Friday night, gotta hit that new release wall. And
Yeah.
man, was it a fight to find that damn box, making sure that it was there.
oh, you pick up
As
the
long as
box,
that
and
box
you're
was
like,
there,
"It's
that
nothing
means they
behind
had it."
No, they have the box up there, but there's nothing behind it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm talking about the Blockbuster rental box that you had to find.
behind the cover. My sister at one point worked at Blockbuster, and I loved it because
Uh,
they got the movies on Tuesday, but they couldn't
Yep.
put them out until Friday. So between Tuesday and Friday, they were encouraged to watch as many new releases as they could, so that
so
when
they can
people
promote them in store. Yep, I know.
my sister
I worked
not
for
being a movie
Blockbuster. My
person,
cousin worked for Blockbuster.
yeah,
We had a huge movie collection back in the day, and
okay.
we seen
FCC,
almost every
don't
movie.
sue me, but I being the video guy that I was the guy that had the two VCRs hooked up together, and yeah, it'd come out on Tuesday, and I'm like, okay, I'm watching this, play record, and but yeah, so I mean, now with streaming though, like you take, what was it, Wonder Woman, literally the night it came out in theaters, it was also on HBO Max.
That was 1984. That was
Yeah, that's what I mean.
when
Wonder Woman 84. Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, so
I 100% honestly did not care. That one I did not wow me at all.
it was 2 hours of watching Gal Gadot in skimpy Wonder Woman outfit. I was okay.
No, see, the thing is like, yes, as a person, but someone I was looking for the story. I mean, I love comics. I want to see what I'm reading on the screen. That
Right,
is
what
my
you have in your head play out.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I understand the armor and I understand the suit. I understand that all. Like I'm excited for the Flash movie. Not for the Flash. I am looking forward to seeing Michael Keaton reprise Batman.
That would be, yeah. I mean, I don't know if I would watch that.
But
in
I
theaters,
have been
primarily
petitioning for
'cause I hate-
years.
I hate Ezra Miller's portrayal of Flash. I
But I've
hate
been
his- I
portraying
hate his
for years for
portrayal.
Michael Keaton to reprise his old man Wayne, to do the Batman Beyond series, to move away from regular Batman. Nothing against Batman itself. Terry McGinnis is Batman Beyond. I think that story now is time for those stories to finally get told.
It's
don't get me
it's
wrong.
kind of like Joe. So Joe Rogan talked about, I think either him or one of his guests, I think it was him, talked about how he hates the Spider-Man movies because it's the same story over and
Yeah.
over and over again. Now with this one, with the MCU
No Way Home?
Spider-Man, they told a different story because the other Spider-Man, even going back to the 70s Spider-Man, it was basically always the same story. Spider-Man gets bit by a spider. He learns how to use his webs.
They didn't go. Marvel understood that we already knew the origin stories of each character, and they took that into consideration. What Tom Holland's Spider-Man. So, I'm gonna fall down a rabbit hole real quick. So you saw No Way From Home. So
Oh, yeah.
Oscorp doesn't exist, right?
Right.
Question is, how did that Peter Parker get bitten by the spider?
Oh, I retconned it that it was Stark Industries.
That's what I believe too. It happened at Stark Tower.
Yeah.
And that's why Tony Stark knew it was Peter Parker in Civil War was Spider-Man. That's already knew he was already there because he was following him along. So,
exactly.
but it came to kind of fruition when he was talking about like, oh man, when I got bit by the spider, I didn't want anybody to know, or I just believed it would be worse if everybody knew. And I understood that concept. And I thought it was great how they kind of wrapped it all up into one. But it's gonna. I want to see how this. I'm looking forward to this. So I understand. Yes, a lot of it's gonna be right to stream. If you don't see it in theaters right now, if you have a really nice TV, fuck it. Wait for Disney to launch it.
And that's the other thing, my 60 some inch high def TV at 10 feet isn't that much different than sitting 50 feet away, 60 feet away in a movie theater. But the main difference is with a movie theater is the experience, especially if you're not the only one there. If you're the only one there, which I have been, trust me, it's not that great of an experience. But when you're in a packed theater, there is a cool phenomenon called group thought. We saw it on January 6th, group thought. One person starts something, and all of a sudden, without ever telling anybody else to do it, it just kind of rolls. It's the same thing. You watch a comedy in a theater, it's a lot funnier than when you watch it at home. You watch an action movie or a Marvel movie in the theater, it's so much more exciting because it's like your vibes feed off each other. Someone starts laughing, everybody's laughing. So it's that theater experience, but they have to get people back into the theaters. And that's where, like I say, my son, who he wants to see some stuff in theaters, but for the most part, he's like, I'll just wait. It's going to be out and streaming in 2 weeks after anyway. It'll be in theaters for 2 weeks and then it'll be out in 2 weeks. So.
About that.
So, while we're doing this, I just got to put this out because it's hilarious.
They work continuously,
After
so you
this
don't have
ad.
to. Zevo, people friendly, bug deadly.
Oh God, the Japanese Spider-Man.
Yes.
Yes, this
And I love
was
his-
definitely
I love
a
his,
different version
his
of
webs,
Spider-Man.
which are like big giant ropes that he throws.
And he has a giant robot.
Yes, he does. He's got a Megatron.
誰だお前は地獄からの使者スパイダーマン
The emissary of hell.
父とガリアの復讐を俺が果たす
I love the really bad camera turn to the side to have it falling on the walls.
Spider Spring! 逃げてください、藤田博士。スパイダーネット
It's like an actual net. Like a fish net.
And I love how, like, the enemies, like, multiply.
Yep.
This is true 70s.
Oh, I can't wait till they get to this part. Yes! Where it becomes like Power Rangers. He's fighting like a Power Rangers monster. And he grows. Like the Power Rangers.
スパイダーストリング
It's a big giant rope. It's spider string. It's like a rope like you would have on a boat to tie up
ア
a
ーベラ
boat.
チェンジレオパルド
And here comes the robot.
Megatron.
Spider-Man has a Megazord. Because why not, right?
I wonder which came out first, this or the Sentai? Super Sentai.
I think this
is
came out before
1978.
Super Sentai. I think they put this in Super Sentai. Oh, he doesn't. That's right. He doesn't swing it. He chucks the sword at them.
スパイダーマンレオパルド
Oh, my
Okay.
God. Yeah. Can we? All right. Yeah, I'm very happy in Multiverse of Madness. This Spider-Man did not fucking show up.
I would laugh so hard if the Spider-Man shows up though for like a half a second. Like he's just like off in the background with his mech.
Yeah, I'd fucking quit. I'd quit. All right, moving on.
All right. Before we go any further, gotta talk about this real quick. Let me play the
Most fun story of the
Jesus,
day
come on.
in media, of course, is that Turning Point USA, led by Charlie Kirk, sent a cease and desist to The View and obtained essentially an on-air apology. That is because Joy Behar went on The View and compared TPUSA to neo-Nazis based on the fact that a bunch of neo-Nazis stood outside the TPUSA convention and trolled TPUSA, which they do at nearly every event.
There was what do you call it? This Turning Point conference with all the smoke. What are they smoking something down there? Or it's like
God, I wish they were.
Anyway, they were out there. Neo-Nazis were in the front of the conference with anti-Semitic slurs and the Nazi swastika and a picture of a so-called Jewish person with exaggerated features, just like Goebbels did in the Hitler during the Third Reich. It's the same thing, right out of that same playbook. Okay, and DeSantis did not say anything about it. Nothing. So it's his sort of his rendition of good people on both sides.
No, it 100% is not. Ron DeSantis, like fan of the neo-Nazis? No. Governor DeSantis routinely brags about how the state of Florida is the #1 incoming state for Orthodox Jews. He's one of the most philo-Semitic people I've ever met in my entire life. And then members of The View went on to essentially label TPUSA a neo-Nazi convention. Well, this prompted the TPUSA founders to send a cease and desist, and that forced The View to basically go ahead and apologize. By the way, my favorite thing is that Whoopi Goldberg actually said, you let them in, you knew what they were, and that is not true. I mean, they were outside protesters. TPUSA did not let them in. And then Goldberg said, my point was metaphorical. Whoopi, stop saying things about Nazis. According to the lawyers for TPUSA, they said, The View hosts intentionally and falsely associated TPUSA with neo-Nazi protesters outside the event, placing TPUSA in denigrating and false light and negatively impacting its public perception. Such action will not be tolerated. Specifically, The View host insidiously and cavalierly stated TPUSA let neo-Nazis in to its SIS event, metaphorically embraced them, and that neo-Nazis were in the mix of people. The assertion that TPUSA is complicit or affiliated in any way with neo-Nazi protesters outside the event is outlandish, false, defamatory, and disgraceful. And that's, of course, true. And that prompted not Whoopi, not Joy, but Sarah Haynes to have to issue an apology on their behalf.
So on Monday, we talked about the fact that there were openly neo-Nazi demonstrators outside the Florida Student Action Summit of the Turning Point USA group. We want to make clear that these demonstrators were gathered outside the event and that they were not invited or endorsed by Turning Point USA. A Turning Point USA spokesman said the group, quote, 100% condemns those ideologies, and said Turning Point USA security tried to remove the neo-Nazis from the area, but could not because they were on public property. Also, Turning Point USA wanted us to clarify that this was a Turning Point USA summit and not a Republican Party event. So we apologize for anything we said that may have been unclear on these points. They still invited Matt.
Unclear? Like they outright
No,
lied.
keep that going. Hold on. Because that lady goes, but they also invited Matt Gaetz. How the fuck does that matter?
Gates, though, I would just like to know.
These are the people that you should trust.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
So The View, honestly, who the hell watches the fucking View? Like, they're a bunch of cackling women that don't know jack shit about anything. Whoopi Goldberg is more anti-Semitic than Matt Gaetz and anybody else.
They have a new. They actually have a new conservative lady joining on their.
They
26th.
always have a new conservative lady. It's like a rotating door.
No, this is full time. She is a full time host now.
Mhm.
And she's actually part of Trump's staff.
And
she
she'll
was
be
part of Trump's
fired
staff.
in no time.
Yeah.
And ridiculed the whole time she's on there.
So
what
no,
do they
no,
call that on the Boy Meets World podcast? The chair that the death chair. Like that's what it's being a conservative on The View is like sitting in the death chair on Boy Meets World.
Yeah.
Where like whoever's sitting there will never be seen again. That's
It'd be
if you're
Minkus
watching
after the
View,
first season.
If you're watching The View for any actual like real opinion or news or anything like that, find something else because they don't know jack shit about what they're talking about.
No.
Like me and Ryan are Joe Schmoes that are doing this podcast, one out of his basement and another out of his attic. And honestly, we do more research than those cackling witches on The View. So that what they did was not an apology. That wasn't even close. They didn't even say we were wrong. They said we want to be clear multiple times, but they didn't say we were wrong. They didn't say we misinformed you. They didn't say we lied. Like that was not an apology. And I hope to hell TPUSA continues with their lawsuit for defamation. Because that wasn't a retraction. That wasn't them retracting anything they said. Cackling bitches.
No. The fact that the View is still going on just amazes me. But I do want to talk about this before we really dive into the stupidity of last week. Which is Saudi Arabia's idea for a new city. It's called The Line. It came out not that long ago. The thing you see right here, those that are watching live or on YouTube or on the replay, when you see this is the whole city. The city's actually in between these two walls. Which on here you can just see the whole thing. So it allows nature to really come back at itself, do what it needs to do, and then everybody has what they need. So, but everybody lives in like 5-minute intervals, like stores, schools, everything. So everything's within walking distance. And it trails for 106 miles.
Yeah,
so,
but it's only 656 feet wide.
Yes.
And they're supposedly going to have
layers.
9 million people there.
Yep.
Even at, I mean, okay, I like the idea. Okay, let me put it this way. I like the idea of
the idea of a vertical city is enticing.
The line will be home to 9 million residents and will be built with a footprint of just 34 square kilometers.
This is.
I mean, did I lose you? Ryan? And we'll be back.
106 miles, 20 minutes from one end to the other. It would be interesting.
I feel like
the idea of it is
I feel like
enticing.
the way that they have it designed, at least in that video and in the pictures, reminds me of like a futuristic city like you see in Star Wars, like, you know, when they're in like
Coruscant.
Coruscant, and like you don't see the ground. There is no ground. They're up so high. They just keep building up higher and higher and higher. I mean, I guess to some that might be worth it. To me, I like having my space out to the side. I would have a hard time living like that. Until
It would definitely, I mean, it would make everybody live in a compact. No one would have a house. It would all be apartments. In a sense.
Not even apartments. They want 9 million in that. We're talking like apartments the size of bedrooms. Like we're talking like, you know, perfectly square, like they're putting that thing together like an Erecta set.
It is a conversation. Definitely it's gonna be something.
I mean, it's a concept. I mean, if they want to try it, I guess go ahead and try it. I mean, I know, you know, that's the thing with like New York City is, what was it? They talk about there's too many people on Earth, but you could take every single person on Earth, put them in the state of Texas, and basically turn the state of Texas into a big giant New York City. And everybody on Earth could live there with the same amount of space that you would have in New York. But again, when you're talking New York City, you're talking building upwards, not building wide. So gone are, you know, your McMansions. Gone are your yards. You have no yard. You don't really have an outside when you do something like this. You know, you have your box and you live in that box. What was it? Ready Player One.
Oh yeah.
You know how they have the what is it? The park, the mobile home park, but they're not wide like a mobile home park. They're actually on top of each other, but nobody seems to care that much because they're all living in virtual reality anyway.
Yeah.
I guess with the metaverse, you could do that. Everybody just does everything on an Oculus.
Yeah. It's coming that way. God, I really hope not.
I think my son spent most of today up here in his bedroom on his Oculus. And
see, my kid wants an Oculus, and I debate about it because I already have enough hard time with him with his electronics anyways, and it is what it is. So, I mean,
I get into this argument with other parents who talk about their kids and they're spending too much time on screens and they're not, and I'm like, that's because that's their life. Just like our parents got on us because we were watching TV too much. And before that, they were listening to the radio too much. Before that, at one point, they actually said books were going to ruin your kids' minds because kids were reading too much and not living in the real world. So, that's how they communicate. When we didn't have that, we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have screens, we couldn't, like him and his friends. When I say he was in Oculus, he was actually playing with his cousin and his two friends. So there was all three of them and they were playing together. They just happened to be miles apart, playing together, talking to each other, stuff like that. Is he going outside and getting vitamin D and stuff like that? No, but it's not like kids are being antisocial. If anything, they're more social than we were, because I lived out in the country. So when I got home, I had my brother and my sister to play with. I was the middle child. Older sister, younger brother. What the hell do you think I did? I watched TV. Because what the hell else was there to do?
No, it is a generational gap thing. I mean, I understand it. I mean, my wife is not all too forgiving. She's like, they're on their electronics too much. They need to go outside. And I'm like, yeah. But everyone portrays going outside as dangerous. Where
Right.
we were kicked out outside when we were kids. And
See, my mom did that to us too, which drove me nuts. Because again, when you're in the country and there's no other kids around, what the hell was there to do? I would go off into the woods. I would build forts. I would, but we don't live in the country. There's still no kids around that are his age, but we're not in the country. And like, if we just kicked him outside, he's an only child. What the hell's he going to do? Walk around in circles?
yeah. Definitely something that makes you think. All right, so let's get into the bullshit that's happening in this world. I thought it was interesting when this came up about the Congress is now introducing term limits for the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, I could understand being a lifelong thing, because all they are there for is to interpret the Constitution against what is going on.
Right.
Should never be rotated out. Those are people that are there. They already
should never have to worry about an election or anything like that.
Yeah, because you're
Again,
not
we're going back
you're not
to high
sit-
school civics here.
Yeah, you're not supposed to sit there and worry about, oh, are my peers going to like what I'm doing? Are they going to reelect me? It's not that kind of a job. It's a job of, okay, Senate confirmed me, poof, I'm in.
And
my job
it's
is
almost
to,
impossible to get rid of me just because you don't like what I'm doing.
yeah.
Like, they have to do
I mean,
something
with that, I
really egregious.
I mean, I introducing a bill to add four more justices to the Supreme Court, which would give an even 13, which give 13 now.
Which is
Supreme Court has to be an odd
hilarious
number.
So it's for the most part the squad and Nancy Pelosi and a few others that talk about packing the court, and they always use the phrase these unelected justices. Name one fucking justice that was elected.
Yeah, no. they're appointed.
They're appointed.
Um,
No justice is elected. That's the point of it. They are
That is
they
the
are
only point of
recommended
it.
by the president and they are approved by the Senate. That's it. And then they have the job, and you can't take that job away from them. That's why That's why Ruth Bader Ginsburg was there until she was too damn. Even before she died, she was in the hospital more than she was actually on the bench the last few years. I'm pretty sure. It's like she was constantly out in the hospital for, for everything, for heart problems, for chest problems, for breathing, for pneumonia, because she's as old as my grandma. And my grandma's pretty damn old. But they couldn't get rid of her.
No, she passed.
Because
they put in a new one. Life goes on.
Right.
The thing is, now they want to do term limits. This will impact if they actually. I believe Congress and Senate.
Yes, absolutely.
Is a needed thing. Supreme Court? No, not really. Because again, it's not about your popularity contest about being a judge. This is what's going on. Don't get me wrong. The newest justice,
Ketanji Jackson Brown.
Justice Brown. She is so far fucking left. It will.
She's farther
she's
left
curvy.
than Sotomayor, which is hard to do.
So it's gonna be interesting, because until they get, and the thing is, right now, it's a conservative. I will say this: it's a conservative justice. Those they were put in by conservatives.
But think about this: up until 2 years ago, we did not have a conservative justice. In my entire life, we did not have a conservative justice, and going back decades beyond that, we did not have a conservative justice. It was always a leftist justice.
Yeah, and the thing is, the only reason this is in effect is because they finally decided to overrule Roe v. Wade. That's it. And that's what's sad. I mean, Roe v. Wade was done, and the thing is, even Ruth Bader Ginsburg even said that they ruled incorrectly on Roe v. Wade. But nobody wanted to touch it because it was probably going to spark an issue. The fact that they did it now was they knew an issue was going to happen, but the thing is, they were righting a wrong from 50 years ago.
Right.
They gave Congress 50 years to ratify it to the Constitution.
Right.
And I believe fucking Kamala Harris said, we just believe things are just settled and they should have just stayed settled. Her comment there just makes absolutely no fucking sense of her word salads. I swear to God. But okay, so if it was settled, then why did the justices finally decide to rule on it? And they ruled on it because it was their prerogative to dictate verdicts based on the Constitution. So they voted on it.
It was
the whole
settled
thing
until
came down
another
to
law until came about that could unsettle.
Yeah. And the thing is, yes, the state of Missouri challenged the abortion time frame because they wanted to bring it down to 15 weeks. Anything after 15 weeks No bueno. And remember they talked about that 10-year-old that crossed state lines?
Yep.
They even said in Ohio, she should have just gone to the hospital. They would have done it because, one, that's a rape.
Well,
Two,
even without
it was
that-
an illegal alien that was living in the household. Dude's going to die in jail. They're going to
And-
kill him.
Okay, but more important than that, she's 10 years old, which means her life is at risk having a pregnancy.
Correct. Her body is not developed
Right.
yet for a baby.
They didn't want to
So,
do
yeah,
it.
no, she
they
should
didn't
never
wanna
have had
do
to
it in
cross state
Ohio.
lines.
They didn't want to do it in Ohio because then they would have had to get the law involved because she's 10 years old and she would have went to a regular hospital.
Yep.
That was the reason.
The thing is,
And the person that raped her lived with them, and I'm pretty sure a lot of the money that they were getting was from him. So by going to another state, they thought, well, we can go not answer questions.
but the problem is it hit the media, and the
Yep.
media spun it in a way to where it wasn't even believable because there's no police record, no nothing. And we couldn't even prove this girl actually went,
Or existed.
even existed. It was just, it sounded fabricated.
Yeah.
The fact that it's all been finally proven, and I think the guy who came forward, fucking scapegoat. But if he really did rape her, dude, I hope you turn into currency to.
He'll probably be deported and come back.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's the way our justice system works. But the thing is again, it comes down to, with the Democrats, everything that they don't like, we're not going to play by the rules. We're just going to change the rules. They don't like that the Republicans were using the rules to hold up nominations from Obama for justices. So we're going to change the rules. Then the rules come back to bite them. They want to, and they would have to do it really fast before, if the Senate ends up changing in November.
Oh, the House and Senate are threatened to change.
The House is most likely going to, but the Senate could go either way.
Yeah.
But they would have to do it before the Senate changes. And so
It'd
they
be
would have
great.
to push this through.
It'd be
Not
really
get it
hard for
filibustered,
Obama, for Biden to get anything done. The House changes hands, Senate doesn't. Oh, well, nothing's gonna fucking pass, because every time the House sends something to the Senate, it's just gonna stalemate out, and it's like, yeah, see, and then he's gonna be a true lame duck president for the rest of because nothing will happen unless he wants to sit there and wave that executive power pen.
The
And then
Obama
that's
pen.
when
Remember, Obama said it himself. I've got a pen. I've got a pen. I know how to use it. I don't need them. I've got a pen.
Oh, I mean, and then, Biden even said, I'm not going to rule by executive power, but yet you have been now the last almost 18 months, almost 2 years of your term. Do I like ragging on Biden? Not really, because as long as he fails, our whole country fails. That's what people don't realize.
Okay, but I want him to fail because if he succeeds in his agenda, the whole country fails even worse.
Yes.
I want his agenda to fail. I
'Cause
want
if
the liberal agenda to fail.
Matt Gaetz said it best the other day because they were talking to someone from the Justice Department about Hunter Biden's laptop, making sure that he's not saying that he's compromised and that Joe Biden's compromised, yada yada yada. And they're like, "Oh, we can't talk about ongoing investigations." That's all they would say. They do realize if the House flips, the House is going to get their investigation.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to get all the answers.
When the House flipped under Trump, I said, I'm pretty sure if I go back into Facebook, I might have even posted it on Facebook. But as soon as it flipped, I said, Trump will not see out of the year before he's got an impeachment trial. Because, impeachment is a House. It's from the House. It's basically the prosecution. Don't forget, just because someone's impeached, that just means they were charged. That's all that means. The Senate is the actual court. So, and I said he's going to be impeached because Nancy Pelosi and all of them, they can impeach him over just about damn near anything. And they did. They impeached him over a fucking phone call.
That they proved really didn't do anything.
Right.
But
if it flips again, if the left wants to play this game, I say more power to the right. You guys play the game also.
The thing is, so Biden will no longer, I will see Biden out of office if the House and Senate flip, because they will convict him and charge him and Kamala Harris.
They would have to it would be hard to get 60 votes in the Senate to convict him.
I think that was the thing. I was watching the have you seen the Timcast?
Not recently.
No, they were talking recently. It was something I put on there. So Donald Trump posted on Truth Social. Oh, by the way, we're on Truth Social too. Saying that if he gets reelected in 2024, he's fucking firing everybody. Anybody and everybody he can fire.
Which is great that he says that now, but he also said that in 2016 and didn't do it.
He also didn't fill seats that all past presidents filled.
Right.
He was the quote. They said that he had more positions not filled. He only had the stuff that needed to be filled. Nothing, not the fluffer positions.
Right, but there was still a lot of people in the
and I
swamp.
think if he had a second term, if he had his second term, I think the swamp would have been thinned out even more.
I think if he would have drained the swamp right away, he would be president right now.
Oh yeah, but I think it's gonna happen. If he does win, I think it will happen. If Liz Cheney is thinking about running for president, which that's not gonna. She's gonna get booed off the fucking stage.
Yeah, she won't make it out of a primary.
Father's gonna be like, "You're a waste of space." Dick Cheney was one of the most ruthless politicians I've ever seen in Congress. His daughter does not shell that at all.
No.
So, I mean, you say what you want. He shot his friend in the face with birdshot.
That had to have hurt like hell. Like, I've had birdshot.
That had to
on
fucking...
me.
I mean, that was point blank, too. In the face. And the guy was like, it was an accident. And fucking... I was like, how the fuck was that an accident? He sneezed. What did he sneeze and turn his gun and say,
No,
fuck you, and boom.
No, they were bird hunting, pheasant hunting. I worked on pheasant farms. I duck hunted. I can honestly see how that can happen.
I'm not. I was just joking about it. I mean,
No,
shit
it's
probably
something
fucking
that-
happened.
It happens more often than you think. Actually, no, quick story. My stories are never quick. Quick story though. I was working for the Michigan DNR at a waterfowl reserve. So for those that don't know what a waterfowl reserve is, basically we set up habitat for ducks. And in part of the habitat, hunters are allowed, but they're only allowed so many hunters. Like each spot is allowed up to 3 hunters in a spot. And then there's a whole other section called the refuge where you're not allowed to hunt, where basically the ducks can live without being shot at. But if they leave that refuge and come into the area where people hunt, then they can be shot at. My first day, I was 18 years old. My first day by myself, I had an orientation. I worked with other people for like a month, and I was by myself. I had to do the drawing on who got the spots in the morning. I had to do that. End of the day, it's like 4 o'clock or almost 4 o'clock because we closed at 4. I'm mopping up, and all of a sudden, a guy runs in and yells, "Call 911, I shot my son." And I'm like, oh shit. So I grab the first aid kit, I grab the phone, run out, and I see this kid, probably 15 years old, with blood coming out from where his stomach is. And I'm like, oh shit, he gut shot him with birdshot. And so come to find out, the kid had a hoodie on, and so he got shot in the hand, stuck his hand in the hoodie, the pocket of the hoodie, to kind of hold pressure on it, and that's where the blood came from. It wasn't, but the dad shot off his pinky finger, his ring finger, and a part of his middle finger. And the reason is because they were standing next to each other talking. 2 birds crisscrossed each other. Well, as the dad was following the one from the left to the right, the son was following the bird from the right to the left. And it just so happened that the muzzle blast was right where the son's hand was on his shotgun. So call 911, finally get him on. I'm holding the hand up, trying to cut off the blood supply and stuff like that. I didn't know how to bandage that, so I right at the wrist, and then the dad, as the paramedics get there and everything, the dad says, "Okay, can you run out and find my dog? I ran him over." I'm like, what the fuck? You shot your son and you ran over your dog? Well, in their haste to get out of there, the dad dropped his gun in the mud. The dog was laying under the car, and the dad just put it in drive and ran off. I get out there. This dog is limping around because he broke his hip. He ran over his back legs. Cut to another 6 weeks later. The dad, the son, and the dog are all back. The son's in a weird looking cast thing. And
Sure.
I asked how it went, and they said, well, they were able to get my everything but my ring finger reattached. So I don't have a ring finger anymore on my left hand. I'm like, so I made a joke about getting married. But everything else, and I'm like, and you're out here hunting again? He goes, yeah, the season's going to be over in a couple weeks. Like, all right, that's dedication.
It happens.
But what I'm saying is, Dick Cheney shooting a guy in the face. It happens because I've seen it where people are following a bird and not thinking, oh, hey, as I'm following this bird, someone else might get in the way of my muzzle blast.
Yeah. But we'll see what happens in 2020. Well, we'll see what happens in 2022, because that's with the justices having that. I don't think Congress has enough time to ratify an additional 4 more seats, because that will take some time, and I don't think they have the time. And 2, even if they had the time, by the time they would get it and everything flipped going into the next year, I seriously doubt any of the recommendations Joe Biden submits would see the time of day.
Yeah.
So, it happens. All right. So we all remember when.
Speaking of, though, August 2nd, those of you that are in Michigan, August 2nd is the GOP primaries. Go ahead and vote. So make sure this Tuesday you go out and vote. We need to get Whitmer out of office. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, Wolf here in PA. He's got to figure out his replacement. So
how the hell did you guys vote in Dr. Oz?
I don't ask these fucking questions. I don't.
What the fuck, Ryan?
I didn't vote for fucking Oz.
Dr. fucking Oz is the front runner.
I for the Pennsylvania Senate. Yes, I know.
Yes.
No,
How?
I didn't vote for him. I did not vote for him. I mean, speaking of dumb things happening in states, we all remember when Greg Abbott said that he was going to bus migrants from Texas to Washington, D.C., right? So
I love this story.
So it's been happening, and the mayor of DC is quite upset because they don't know what to do.
So DC Mayor Muriel Bowser is pleading with the National Guard and the White House for help with immigrants in Washington, D.C. It's hilarious.
So here is, I got a couple. I got 2. I got one from Mayor Bowser and one from the White House. So this is entertaining.
Well, we need space, and we need the federal government to be involved. So I've asked for the deployment of the Guard, as long as we need the Guard to deal with a humanitarian crisis that we expect to escalate. The number of people crossing the border seeking asylum, we expect to only go up. And we need to make sure that there is a national response, not an ad hoc city by city, state by state response. So there is a robust federal response that helps people with transportation on to their final destinations, and even getting them a legal route to work, into a work permit. And we need a parallel system for the increasing numbers of people that we will see crossing the border.
Yeah, they're coming because they know Joe Biden has an open border system for our country.
Yeah, basically Joe Biden said, we have no border, come on in, do whatever the hell you want. And so Arizona and Texas said, you know what, we're tired of you guys, you liberal Congress people, liberal states saying come in, when you're not the ones having to take them in. So you know what? We're just going to ship them all to you. We're not taking this anymore.
And here's the White House. They asked her that question.
Yeah, good. Karine, the mayors of New York City and D.C. are calling for more federal resources to assist with asylum seekers who are being bused to those cities from Texas and Arizona. They've had thousands of people arrive.
They didn't think this was going to actually.
Mayor Bowser here in D.C. said that these people are being tricked. What federal resources is the White House preparing?
My thing is, how the fuck were they tricked? Greg Abbott
No,
flat out
they-
said, "Hey, we don't have any room here for you, so we're going to send you to DC."
That's the bullshit of all of this. Is basically these fucking Democrats want these Republican states, these Republican governors, to house all of these illegal immigrants and use their own resources. They don't want to give them up. They don't want them in their back door, in their back porch, in their backyard. They want it as far away as they can so they can say, look at me, I'm a good person.
They were sending people to New York too, and the mayor of New York City was losing his damn mind about it.
If any, to deliver to these cities and other cities that are now dealing with an increase of asylum seekers?
So I can tell you, Karen, that we have been in touch with both of their administrations, both of their offices, and we're going to continue to look into their requests.
And then on the other end of it, some advocates say that the governors of these states are using these migrants as pawns. Has the White House reached out to those governors and said, don't send these people to these cities on the East Coast?
So as you know, we're in constant communication and contact with governors just across the country. I don't have anything specific to that, that the specific on migrants being shipped to other states.
Is there a message from the White House about
I think we have, this has come up before, I believe, a couple of months ago, and I think we believe it's shameful that some governors are using migrants as a political tool, as a political play, when we should be making sure that we're doing everything that we can to help folks who are coming into this process in a legal way, and making sure that we do this in a safe way and respectful way. And I think it's shameful that is happening.
She is so bad at her job.
Oh my God.
And it's not a political ploy. It is listen, you want to bring these people in, you take care of them. That's what it comes down to. It's no different than, all of these leftists saying, well, if you want there to be no abortion, then you are forced to adopt all of these babies that are being born. Okay, well, this is no different. They want to bring them all in. Well, let's put them in their back door. Here's the New York mayor talking about this.
This is a real burden on New Yorkers as we're trying to do the right thing. We already, as I stated, we already have an overburdened shelter system. So now we're talking about, as you stated, food, clothing, school. This is going to impact our schools because we do not turn away individuals because they're undocumented. Translation services. There's just a whole host of things that this is going to produce, and that's why we need help in getting this done, and we need the right coordination to make it happen. This is a real burden.
These leftists live in fucking La La Land. They live in La La Land because they don't see the actual impact of their decisions and of their philosophy. And as soon as they see it, all of a sudden, the other people are the bad guys. Because Texas won't keep them. I read a story. There is a border town in Texas that had, I want to say it was like 10 or 30,000 people, and they got an influx of another 20 or 30,000 illegal immigrants. You want to talk about strain on resources? That's a strain on resources right there. That's why they're shipping them. Is because you can't expect the people that don't want them in their backyard to keep them. You're the one that wanted them in. You take care of them. You deal with the problem. It's your fucking problem.
Yeah. That is the true nature of the beast. It's all our fault until it's shown, it's proven it's their fault, but they're like, oh, no, it's not. It's not our fault.
Well, even when it's proven that it's their fault, then the narrative becomes Republicans pounce on Democrats. Republicans do political game. It's a political game now. No, it's showing you the actual consequences. See it for yourself. You know what? Put it in fucking Martha's Vineyard. Park that bus in front of the White House.
Will not appreciate them being in there because it would ruin his wife's wine.
Make them buses stop in front of the White House and kick them all off. Okay, you're in D.C. now. Have fun.
That would be entertaining. See the Secret Service scramble.
These jack-offs don't want any border security. They don't want a wall. They don't want to limit or stop.
No,
they don't want to send them
they
back.
don't want a wall, but they are filling the wall. They are in fact filling the wall in areas in Arizona, between Arizona and Texas, to try to close the choke point. The speaker was saying, I think earlier today, that they're not building it; they're cleaning up the mess that the previous administration did. No, there's no mess. You stopped using the material that's sitting there. The shit's already been paid for. All you gotta do is put it up.
Yeah, put it together.
You had no problem sending our money to Ukraine. That would have paid for like 3 or 4 walls. One.
Because what was the wall? 5?
Yeah. I think it was like 4 or 5 billion. At most, I think 8.
And we send 40
but
billion.
it was, yeah. And the only reason why Ukraine is still in that fucking fight, if they're actually in, the conspiracy theorist in me, 100% does not believe that there's a true fight going on. The reason why I'm saying this, before anyone comes at me, one, Elon Musk sent them God knows how many satellites for Starlink. So they had internet access, to secure internet access. 2, people would be posting the shit out of that on the internet. It's fucking dead quiet. 3,
I noticed that.
Zelensky's wife was on the fucking cover of Vogue in the middle of a war. Ukraine is a very corrupt country. They already said they are not a democracy. There's like, and he has them by an iron fist in Ukraine. He shut up all other forms of opposition in their government. And the media is only showing whatever he approves. Tell me how that is not a... Granted, okay, I understand what Russia's doing. Yeah, Russia's fucking being a dick doing it. Whatever. But there's something missing from this fucking story. Because when we were at war in Iraq and in fucking
Syria and everywhere else.
Syria and all that, Dude, it was all over the TV. Fucking shots. Even when we were in.
Still on. And everything else. There was.
And
footage
soldiers were
being-
posting shit left and right.
You know what? I'm gonna, while we're talking,
You
I'm
see
gonna look
nothing.
Up, I'm gonna look up Ukraine in Facebook and see if there's anything recent.
So, before anyone says, "Oh, I don't believe there's a," the only reason if Ukraine and Russia are in a war, the only reason why Ukraine is in this fight at all is because of the United States supplying drones, missiles, ammunition, guns, armor, vehicles. My thing is, we'll never see that back. We'll never see any of that back. So we all just wrote a fucking check to Ukraine and fucking just bent over and licked our own buttholes for all I fucking know.
You know what's funny is everything coming out there. I'm looking at typed in Ukraine and then tapped on videos. Everything is about Russia from Russia. Nothing from like the things, except for like ABC News. U.S. ambassador to Ukraine tells patriotic story.
So I'm just now seeing this article. This came out today. I know this is going to be a side note, but you'll probably make the same face I just did. The article reads, Adam Schiff is making a move to replace Nancy Pelosi as the House Speaker if she steps back after the midterm reports. That asshole does not need that seat.
He should be. Oh God, that asshole doesn't need anything. All the guy ever wants is power. Everything to him is about power. He's like bangs that gavel more than anybody. That gavel is like a shotgun to him. I'm gonna look.
I
up
mean, he
Twitter.
was the reason why the Trump even was impeached in the first place, because of, quote, he had evidence, but fucking evidence never fucking appeared.
Isn't that funny? For like 2 years, he was talking about, we've got this massive evidence. It's all coming down. All the Russia stuff and this and that. And he's going to go to jail for Russia. And never once showed any evidence. He had about as much evidence as they were able to show from, you know, there was more evidence of election tampering than there was that they had for Russia.
Yeah, so that's a little bit of a.
So looking at the latest on Twitter, I'm seeing some stuff. Come out of like photos that were supposedly taken within the last couple days.
And
not
this
much.
just released an hour ago. So you know that they were doing that gun legislation today, right? They were doing another mass vote. So it just passed the House. The
Really?
vote order is, the vote count came to, where was it? It was really fucking close too. 217 to 213.
So basically, every Democrat versus every Republican.
Yep. And they believe it will stall in the Senate at a 50-50 split. And they need a majority. They need a 60-40 for that to even go. Granted, they got it to pass in the House. So it didn't die in the House for once. Because the last time they did it,
the 60 vote, do they realize that the 60 vote filibuster is to slow shit down like this? Like the House is the reason that you see stuff pass in the House all the time is because they don't have a filibuster. Like anybody
No.
can propose. They can propose something today and go, "Hey, I want to propose that everybody born with on July 23rd has to pay a 90% sales tax on everything," and they can pass it tomorrow and pass it by one vote, and it passes because that's how the lower house is supposed to be. But then it's supposed to go to, and the Senate has the filibuster rule to say, no, it's up for a vote. We have a 2/3 majority say, yeah, this is to be on the floor. Like it has to push it down so that you don't have simple majorities just passing whatever the hell they want.
I saw a weird video just a little while we were talking. Nancy Pelosi was talking about they're introducing the JR-15 for kids.
JR-15?
They're upset because it's smaller and it resembles the AR-15, and I'm like,
gun control groups AR-15 rifle designed to teach kids safety.
yeah.
Let's bring up a video.
So the JR-15 is no. So from the way the information that is out about the JR-15, let me try to get it up here so everyone can see. It's basically, it's supposed to be an education tool in a sense, to teach kids how to respectfully use a gun.
Yeah, teach them.
Here it is.
Teach them gun safety with something that resembles. So, oh, you got something up.
So JR-15, get them like letter. Our goal is to develop a shooting platform that was not sized correctly and safe, and also looks like and operates like mom and dad gun. Okay, great, cool.
Yep.
The safety and forefront was developed and a patent tempered resistance safety, and that puts the adult in control of the firearm safety switch. The We1 and Schmidt Tool Team brought their collective experience together, firearm business, specifically the AR platform, to the table to launch the JR-15. We are excited and start capturing this. So there's.
So it's a 22.
Yeah. It's a
Which is
22
no
long
different
rifle,
than-
just designed as an AR. That's it.
Yeah. Here, close yours. I've got a
All right.
little YouTube thing from a gun show. Mind you, I have not pre-watched this, so.
Here is a scaled down AR-15 in polymer. It also weighs 2.2 pounds, and it's about a
Oh, it's from the Young
20%
Turks.
reduction in size. So it fits the kids really well, and that'll give them the confidence to hold this thing the way they should have confidence holding. It's also just great. It just fits them. It fits them really well.
Yeah, and that's I've got. And so they're now 8 and 10, right? And so they both started shooting age 3-ish. I think one of them was just under 3, one of them just over 3. But they've been shooting for as long as I could have guns around, right?
That's awesome, Barrett.
That's awesome, Barrett.
Okay. I don't care about you.
I have a feeling that
So-
guy was going to just go at him.
It's the Young Turks, so you can't. Al Jazeera is the only thing more leftist than them. So it's a 22. But here's the thing: is I take my son shooting. We go to the shooting range. I let him shoot the AR. In fact, he did really well shooting the AR.
Gavin Newsom's tweet about that. This is vile. A skull and crossbones with a pacifier on a weapon of war, made to look cute to appeal to kids. The manufacturer calls this the JR-15. Every NRA-backed politician should condemn this. No, there's nothing wrong with it.
Look, there's my son.
Yeah,
with the AR with the full size.
You should get him a JR-15. I mean, if
Now,
he's learning, as long as he has the basics, I mean, learn safety, then there's nothing wrong with it. Period. But
now, does that look dangerous? Does it look like we're taking him out,
No.
shooting up a school or anything? No. It's a kid learning how to properly use. He's got ear protection on. He's got eye protection on. Oh, no eye protection. I didn't give him eye protection. Sorry, NRA. That was my bad. But we all had ear protection on. We made sure that we were behind. I taught him how to handle it correctly. I taught him how to keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to fire, all of that. That's how he learns. That's how I learn. My dad taught me. If you don't teach them, because he's in a house with guns, if I don't teach him and let him experience the power that these firearms actually have, then that's where kids get curious and bad things happen. If you teach them at a young age to respect them, and that's where something like the JR comes in, because my son was shooting a 223, and he's a pretty big boy, and you could see how it was kicking him back. A 22 is so light that you could teach. I think I had my son shooting a 22 rifle when he was about 5. Was when I first started him with the 22, because it had almost no kickback. And he respects them. He's never once. He's
that's
asked me
all
to
that
take it
matters.
out and show him how to clean the gun.
Yeah.
But or when he wants to, he'll say, "Can we go to the shooting range?"
Respect. It is a firearm. It is something that you must have respect for. It is something that you must have. So things that are going on just doesn't make sense. So,
well, it's because you have dumbass liberal leftists that don't understand firearms, and they think everything is a fully automatic assault rifle that only the military should have and was used in Vietnam. And they get all of their firearm information from Rambo.
So I know my whole family's military, and a bunch of my friends all went military after high school. One of them I know who was an E4 at the time, was overseas, over in Russia, doing drills and everything. He questioned a sergeant, captain, whatever their commander is. Asked them a question. During the Cold War, why didn't World War III spark? The commanding officer from the Russian military, flat out said they had contingents for the U.S. military. The problem was is the minute we landed on the U.S. ground, everybody's armed. Everyone was landing to a firefight, not to.
Yeah, the Japanese said the same thing. That's why the Japanese didn't. Said one of their commanders said they wouldn't attack the U.S. because there's a gun in every window.
Yeah, so it's, and that's where the Democrats are like, no, well, we're just, if they take the Second Amendment away from us, we will be conquered easily.
Right. By our own government and foreign governments. Yeah.
Sorry, China's what? Taiwan's doing drills right now, and Nancy Pelosi shows up because China's threatening war.
Well,
fucking
China still thinks Taiwan is a part of them.
Yeah,
and
a handful
oh my God, if China takes over Taiwan and we don't do anything, we're fucking toast because the world's semiconductors are made in Taiwan. Ryan, do you know what a semiconductor goes into?
Cars.
Everything.
Everything. I mean,
we talk about the chips in the cars and stuff, but it's not just that. It's everything. It's our computers, it's our vehicles, it's our infrastructure. It's this freaking microphone has semiconductors in it.
Oh, so it will definitely be that'll be something to watch.
Yep.
Because I know the Navy has redirected ships from fucking the
China's
Japan
already got essentially a blockade around Australia.
Yep. So I mean, China's already in position, and it's like, and yeah, you're gonna be dumb and announce that you're gonna go to Taiwan. You've already released. We've already kicked the fucking hornet's nest, and China has their guy in the White House, so they're like, well, we can do whatever the fuck we want. So
right. And the way that we left Afghanistan didn't help our cause at all.
No.
So they probably have half of our stuff that we left in Afghanistan.
That's I wouldn't doubt it. And then the last thing before we're done for the night. So there's a gentleman that we have in our federal jail. He is dubbed as the Merchant of Death. Simply because he traded. You want to talk about arms being bought out of cars and everything? This guy did it all over the world.
Yeah. And he only got 25 years in a U.S. prison, which is weird.
Yeah. No, federal prison. He's in a federal prison.
Still, it's a U.S. federal prison. And he only got 25 years.
So they want to trade him. They want to trade for Brittany Griner and Paul Whelan.
Yeah.
Who are in jail in Russia for breaking Russia law.
For smoking pot, which, okay, in the U.S. and most states, not a big deal.
It's illegal.
It's illegal there.
And there's people in jail still right now sitting in jail for fucking weed. For the same thing that she did.
Right.
So if she comes home because of weed, and we release that dumbass
that we made a fucking movie, a Nicolas Cage movie about. Lord of War.
I love that movie, by the way. That was a fantastic. I enjoyed
the
that
movie. Was good. I have this hatred for Nicolas Cage, though. So
I don't know. I always had a thing for him in Con Air. That hair, that and Gone in 60 Seconds. Those are probably like one of my only two favorite Nicolas Cage. Face Off.
No. Oh God, no. Oh God. Oh, that just makes me. Ugh.
But it's just the way it's happening and for what reasons that's happening. We're giving into Russia by giving them back a guy they want back for people who don't give a shit about the United States.
Right. Right, exactly. You know, the only reason anybody cares about them is because what's her name is a WNBA star, which has like, 10 viewers, but she's popular on social media and BLM.
Mm-hmm. So it's
bullshit. It's complete bullshit. That we would make any deal for them.
So Victor, his name is, I'm sorry, it's Victor Bout. I couldn't remember. I couldn't think of his name until now. This is how they transport him around. This is like the last known photo. He's in shackles and he has no shoes. They want to fucking.
Yeah, they've got him in hobble restraints.
Yeah, for these two, they want to bring back these two. Paul Whelan, yes, he is a former Marine.
He's accused of spying. So
he's accused of a spying, which.
Okay.
Who knows?
If he was spying and he got caught, then yeah, something should be done for him. Because he was actually
fucking
doing his
rot
job.
for her 10 years. Because weed is illegal in Russia and it carries a 10-year sentence. The fucking black and white in their law.
If you go in another country, you don't do it. Like I told you before, when she got arrested, when I went through Europe, I bought a new pack of cigarettes in every country because some of them had actual laws against how much you declare and stuff like that when you go into the countries. So I'm like, you know what? It's so much easier to throw this out, and then when I get into the other country, I go to the store and I buy another pack. Because I wasn't going to take the chance. And that was in friendly countries.
Yeah.
So no. Again, title of this show should be "This is Bullshit." I don't think that'll work.
No. I'll come up with something. But that we are all out of our conversations for this time. Remember, again, when you listen, you have questions about what we want to, you want to disagree, send us an email, firetalknetwork@gmail.com, or leave us a voicemail at 814-380-9820. Leave a message. We'll play it. We'll have a conversation, and we'll go on from there. And also just check us out on YouTube. Whenever you guys, if anyone watches, I can see the stream. It's there. I can see the chat. I'll even talk to you. But you got to remember one thing. I mean, this is definitely a different world. I really hope we're in an alternate world due to the Hadron Collider.
So that means there's a better world out there.
God, I hope
We
so.
just need to figure out how to cross back into it.
Right? All right. So, I have nothing more. Do you have anything you want to go with?
Nope. Let's see if the music will start.
All right, everybody. See you next week.
It does not start.
All right. Well,
see you guys.